Back from the weekend on Locked On Coyotes, Mullett Arena has shown their single game ticket prices, which go on sale today. What's going to happen with how full it will get? We'll talk about that. And the Arizona Coyotes have announced their roster for the 2022 Rookie Faceoff Tournament. All of that discussed on today's episode of Locked On Coyotes.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Robyn Leonio. That's Carl Pavlak. On today's episode of Locked On Coyotes, I want to thank everyone for making this show your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube. Of course, we're Apple, Google, Spotify, everything else as well. We got a great show for you guys today. We're talking ticket prices, single game ticket prices, as well as, the Rookie Faceoff Tournament. So we got a lot to get to on this episode, Carl.
Yep, absolutely. One of the things that people have been clamoring about for a while is, like, are the Coyotes going to sell out every single game? And the answer up until now has been, like, well, they can't. The single game tickets haven't been put on available yet. And they wanted to make sure that you can be more than just, like, season tickets, which is great. If it's just season ticket holders, that limits the crowd to like a small group of people. You want to make sure that everyone kind of gets a shot, even though pricing is definitely going to be a concern for a lot of people.
Plus, single game tickets is actually how you make a lot of more money too, right? Because that's
absolutely
because they're a higher price. Because obviously, you put a deal for those that are buying season tickets or flex packs. It's like, oh right, you're buying multiple different games at once, so we'll cut you a deal. Single game tickets are different.
Yep. When you buy in bulk, you usually get a discount. And you know, I do think if they had made it only season ticket holders, they also would have had a big issue with scalping, because there are, I'm sure, plenty of ticket brokerage like places that, you know, have season tickets, and the organization probably doesn't want to cut them off completely, because in today's day and age, you do need to have a relationship with ticket brokers. But you want to make sure that you get some single games in there. So like not everything has to be purchased on freaking, StubHub.
Yeah. And I mean, and the interesting thing too, and I think, what was the entry level? It's well over about like $100 and something, right?
Yes. I am looking at the press release. It doesn't actually say what the pricing is. But yeah, it's well over $100 for a ticket.
Yeah, it's well over $100 because I think it's like $50 or whatever if you're a student. Like roughly, depending on how low or whatever, like it could be anywhere from $25 to $100 if you're a student, depending on the game, maybe where you're sitting and stuff like that. So also to answer another question for some of you guys. Arizona State University students will get a discount, there's some people that would have claimed you get in for free. No, if you're a student, that's no. Come on, let's be real here. No, but that is a hefty discount. You're going to get in for under $100.
Yeah, I mean, I think every building, well, maybe not all of them, but most buildings do offer some kind of free tickets for people, because you give it out to like organizations. You do a lot of things. Like free tickets are a very like useful thing. In business, we would call them a loss leader. You like lose a little bit of money on that, but you get people in, and then they buy, concessions, parking, all of that kind of fun stuff. And that's where you make your real money. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things where, students are going to have to pay. They're going to, be paying a fairly cheap amount for students for a professional event, but that's fine. You want to have that kind of energy in there, and you know that those kids are going to fill up on beer because it's ASU. Forks up. Hang on, that one. Did the devil horns real quick, but that's a different hand symbol. And yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see how things go. And I'm sure we're going to get some press releases in the next coming days regarding the Coyotes tickets progress.
Yeah, and absolutely. And it goes to the fact that there was one thing you said to kind of start things off is the question was asked whether or not they will sell out their games. It's like, are they going to do it? According to the Coyotes president and CEO, Alex Gutierrez, or Javier Gutierrez, what did I say? I mixed up Alex Morello and Javier Gutierrez. I can't believe I did that. But so Javier Gutierrez said that they're going to sell out every game.
Yeah.
And obviously that makes sense. When you're in a much smaller venue, I think 4,200 seats for the total, it's going to be, that's not a lot. But even with those prices, people were still buying them.
Yeah. I think on ESPN, they had an article about how the Coyotes revenue has, surpassed just because like the amount is higher. I've said it in prior episodes. I have 4 years experience doing group sales for an event company. We did events at Gila River Arena. We did events at Footprint Arena. Wasn't called that when we did events, but we did them. And yeah, if every game doesn't sell out, a lot of people are going to get fired because that is the nature of the business. Like, I would not think that they would have an extremely hard time selling out. Now, I am going to say, like, just right off the bat that, it's not easy to sell group tickets, but, someone is going to get fired if they don't sell out every game.
Did you see, though, that they're like, when I think ESPN put out the article, whatever, there were some people that were surprised. It's like, what? Like, really? Are you not? Have you not been paying attention?
No, people haven't been paying attention. That is the most important thing. No one has been paying attention.
Yeah, because like, here's the most important thing, and I know a lot of you listeners are gonna hear the same thing that Carl and I have been talking for the longest time. The Coyotes are in like the hub. They are in that center where all the hockey fans will can easily get to. You're gonna have a lot more hockey fans willing to pay their money and do a lot of different things around there. And obviously, like I said, smaller venue and higher ticket prices, that kind of plays into it. But this still does spell good news for their hope of building the Tempe Entertainment District on Priest and Rio Salado.
I think so, yeah. I think they have a good start, and that's going to really show the city council that the Coyotes are in a good spot.
Absolutely. I think a couple of things that do want to put out there, too. I'm trying to think the best way to word it. I'm trying to think how I was going to say it, but I think the thing that people were most surprised about was not that there was sellout every game. I think obviously there are people that were so surprised about that, but the fact that their ticket revenue is up.
Yeah, they are definitely charging more for tickets, and also for a venue like Gila River Arena, there's a whole lot of surcharges in that ticket price too, and you're doing a cut to a lot of people, and that is absolutely going to make a world of difference. That Mullett Arena, I don't know their ticket breakdown, but I'm willing to bet $100 right now that they have lower surcharges than what was being had at Gila River Arena.
Probably. But that's also good news, right? The fact that they have that the revenue is up, and like you said, it is also kind of goes into the fact of higher ticket prices too, but also a good sign. Like all of these are a lot of good signs pointing to like I said, that new venue that they want to build, which I think they're hoping gets approved by this fall.
definitely the hope seems to be by the end of the year.
By the end of the year, I think that's like the deadline to find out. Like they're wanting to, like, probably definitely not this month, but like let's say like late October, November ish. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned if it got to December though.
yeah, true. If it got that far, it won't be too crazy. If it goes like toward the end of December, like into January, it's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, that could definitely be the case. But then again, we also said that, if it got to the point where Lawson Krause was having an arbitration date set up, then that would be a concern.
Fair enough. Anyways, though, we still got more to get to on this episode of Locked On Coyotes. We're going to go ahead and talk about the upcoming Rookie Faceoff Tournament. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you guys about Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens is that amazing powder that will go ahead and help start your day, because it is one scoop of this in your water, and you're getting 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you get your day started right. This special blend helps support your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All the things that you want out of a good super greens like powder / juice. And again, it is super easy to incorporate into your life. It's something that I can take every day. Really easy. All I gotta do is start my morning with it, and the rest gets taken care of. It's very lifestyle friendly, whether keto, paleo, vegan, dairy free, gluten free, and any of those kind of things, you can have it. Plus, the really good thing about this, it does cost you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. I know I'm addicted to cold brew. It's hard to kick that, but when I find out that Athletic Greens is cheaper, it might be easier with that. But that's with the AG1 that is. And right now, it is time to claim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just one scoop of water every day, and that's it. No need for a million pills, supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. That's athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right, now, back here on Locked On Coyotes, let's go ahead and talk Rookie Faceoff Tournament, because that is something that's coming up very soon, because it's like Rookie Faceoff Tournament and then like training camp. That's how it goes. Well, it's rookie camp, rookie tournament, then training camp.
Yes.
And the roster was announced, right? And it's got a lot of people, a lot of really good names in there. Carl, Connor Geeky is going to be showing up. Dylan Guenther is going to be in there. Liam Kirk is going to be in there. Ben McCartney. Like, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. Jack McBain and Nate Smith. If you liked what you saw last season, they're going to be playing. Two players who I think are, have a really good chance of making the team out of training camp, but they're going to need to earn their spot, and this is where they start earning their spot.
Absolutely. And that's the cool thing. Some of you are going to look at the roster and wonder, where is Maverick Lamoureux, or where's Logan Cooley? Well, Logan Cooley, first and foremost, he's going to college, so he can't be here.
Nope.
Maverick Lamoureux, I think recovered.
He's injured.
He's recovered from an injury. That's what it is. But that also goes into the other thing. Obviously, the fact that Dylan Guenther is showing up means that he is recovered from his injury.
Yeah. I was really hoping that Lamoureux would be ready. I missed him at the prospect development scrimmage because he was also injured. He was very noticeable as the very tall man walking around. I think he had a boot. I can't remember. But I know that is going to be a lot of fun, and also kind of geeky because he was hurt like early on in the prospect camp, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, he was injured on day one.
Yeah. So yeah, this will finally be our chance to see, Connor Geeky play in a Coyotes jersey, which should be really good.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is we won't be able to see it in person because the Rookie Faceoff Tournament this year is in San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Versus last year when it was here in Arizona. It's like, oh yeah, we could do that, but no. It's there. Obviously, it makes sense that they're switching where it goes every year.
Yeah.
To be fair to the other teams here on the West Coast.
It'll be this Friday, the 16th through Monday, the 19th. The Coyotes will be playing 3 games. Friday facing off against the Golden Knights, Saturday against the Anaheim Ducks, and Monday against the Colorado Avalanche. I don't know too much about those teams' prospect pools. If I had to bet, I would say that the Ducks have the best one and the Golden Knights have the worst. Just the way that they handle their like everything.
I mean, based off of as much as I've been trying to follow, that is kind of, I'd say that's pretty accurate. I think the Kings also would have a solid prospect pool to watch out for.
The thing I'd be wondering about the Kings is like how many of them are true prospects now versus
a lot of them should. I think because they're emerging from their rebuild finally.
Yeah, so. Which is kind of the same with the Ducks too, because I feel like they were on very similar time frames.
I think the Ducks might be a year or two behind, so it's just really close.
But we all know that like Vegas just does not care too much about drafting.
I'm gonna try to look at their roster, but they have no. I'm like, wait a minute, who are these people? I mean, obviously you know some, but like, it's like, wait a minute, why? I'm like, what?
And are they going to ever suit up for Vegas, or are they going to be part of the next big trade package? Those are
because they got to keep saving on cap space because they keep screwing themselves over. I mean, maybe they might be saved because what do they want to do in the next few years? They want to get up to $90 million, right? So that salary cap. So
yeah, but I more just meant being like included in a trade package to get the next big like guy, the next big person who becomes available. Throw their 3 best prospects.
Well, also, player. I mean, also, you're trading prospects away as to sweeten the deal to get rid of bad contracts.
Yeah, so that too. Vegas has made a lot of moves, and I would actually be very curious to get like a deep prospect analysis. I'm sure like Corey Proman's done one for them already. I just haven't read it yet. But that's definitely something to watch out for. These kind of rookie faceoff tournaments are really interesting because, most of these players, let's be real, they're not going to make it to the NHL. Like, it's a full roster going there. Not everyone is going to be an NHL player, but you really start to see kind of like who is beginning to separate themselves, who is going to like take this kind of thing very seriously, along with just having the natural ability. Because I do think it's very easy for a player like Dylan Guenther, who's just, naturally talented at hockey and has tremendous skill, hockey IQ, all that kind of fun stuff. Like, it's a meaningless tournament at the end of the day. It's probably not going to earn him a roster spot, but is he going to show up? Is he going to do all the right things? I assume so, but that remains to be seen.
I mean, that was the case last year, right? When you saw Dylan Guenther in the Rookie Faceoff Tournament, you're just like, holy crap, this kid is good. And he's like, yeah, we'll see him for a little bit. But then he's like, then we realized what the Coyotes are doing. And like, we remembered what the Coyotes were doing, not realized. We remembered what they're doing. It's like, no, he's not going to make the roster.
No. They're not even going to do that a couple games. They want him just as far away as possible. And thank God that they did, because that was a rough start.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that start.
I can only imagine Dylan Guenther on an 0-11-1 start.
Just that freaking moral destruction. You're just like...
Yeah. And then like there was multiple injuries because I think Timmins went down in the 6th game.
Timmins went down, Yashkin went down, Hutton went down.
All within the first 10.
Yeah.
So he probably would have seen most of those. That would have been just a rough locker room. I hope it's better this year, but it's probably not going to be too much better.
Unfortunately. I mean, could be Chicago, I guess.
All right. So I do need to make a quick correction. Yashkin made it 12 games.
So he made it right to that game that they ended up winning.
Right
before that.
Right before that, yeah. I think so. That. Unless he was scratched at one point. I don't think he would have been, but yeah. Who are you most excited to see in this face-off tournament?
Honestly, like I'm gonna keep going with Connor Geeky because like he is the highest pick from this last draft that's going to be there because like we said, Logan Cooley's not going to be there, and there's the big question mark about Connor Geeky of like he might be big, he might be and he might be skilled, but he's got to work on X, Y, and Z, and I want to see what he did during the summer and see if he maybe made any adjustments based off maybe what he was told during training camp, despite getting injured, and to see just overall how he's developing and and kind of get an estimate of how soon we might be able to see him as well.
That's definitely a good choice. Like the fact that he was injured that first day of training camp
made it really hard.
Yeah, it made it really hard, and it also just like added a level of mystery to him. Where in general you're like, what is he really like? Because I do think you were a bit more informed about Geeky than I was to go, but we didn't think that the Coyotes were going to have a pick where he was going to be drafted. So I didn't do too much research on him. I'm excited to kind of see what he can do. For me personally, though, I want to see what McBain can do. He, I think, is a player to watch. Like I said, he is going to be fighting for a roster spots. Neither him nor Smith are really guaranteed anything. And, I think he could be like one of the highlights of that team.
Absolutely. I got another question for you too on the other side. Obviously, I don't think we're going to see Anson Thornton for at least another year or two. Mm-hmm. But
at least,
yeah,
at least another year or two.
But based off trajectory, Tendek is not really living out to. I wouldn't say there was much expectation. I didn't even know what the expectations were for him, but like. It's like there's not really much there with Tendek. Like, do you eventually see that maybe like this tournament can help put more eyes on Thornton's? Like, all right, maybe this guy's going to eventually replace Tendek as someone who's going to be down the ready to slot in at a certain point, like in the AHL or something.
I mean, potentially, like. Thornton just seems like he was signed so young, and he still has a lot of growth to do. Like, I agree with you that Tendek is probably not really in the team's long-term future. But I'm not sold on Thornton either. Like, maybe this tournament could be like his big kind of like showing. I don't know.
They didn't draft a goaltender this week, so like obviously they've got faith in what they have in the system, right? At least a little bit.
Either that, or like they just didn't see like a goaltender who they thought could be that. Like, I agree with you that they hopefully have someone in mind, that they've been making moves to have someone in mind, but if all they saw they had so many picks, but if they didn't see like someone like in the 5th round that they thought was worth taking a chance on, then that's not necessarily the worst move in my opinion. Like drafting goalies just seems like a very weird thing, and we are seeing more of like, when has the Coyotes had a goaltender who they drafted who has been like their linchpin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Going back, Ranta, Kemper, Vamelka, Smith, LaBarbera, Devin Dubnyk, like none of these players were drafted by the Coyotes. They were acquired. Like maybe you don't need to draft goalies.
That's true. Maybe you don't. But I think that's the thing is, a lot of fans love the idea, right, of homegrown. It's like you got drafted and we're going to take care of you and you're all going to be, an Arizona Coyote. You're going to go through the system and you're going to be an Arizona Coyote.
Yeah. And I will say that there are definitely goalies who have been drafted who play phenomenal with their team. Vasilevsky was probably the number one example. I think he was drafted by the Lightning. But I don't think it was necessarily their first priority. I don't know. I am like, as the years go on, I am less and less sure about the Coyotes because it is one of those things where like we're kind of waiting on Prospetov, and it does feel like the eggs are pretty much all in that basket, with maybe a couple in Thornton. But I would like to see some big steps from Anton Thornton.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see some good steps from him. See what kind of role he can do in at least this tournament, to kind of get us an understanding of what trajectory he is on his development. To see what the next few years might look like.
I will say on 5 for Howling, we're doing our 25 under 25. Thornton did not make the list. He was almost there. He was one of the runners up. And one of the things I discovered was he had been acquired by another juniors team. So, like, if that's the case, that says to me that someone wants him, and they're willing to pay for him, which is good. But I don't know. Like, there's a lot of years before I think he is going to be an NHL goaltender, if ever.
Absolutely. Last player I do want to touch on because it's the novelty behind this player because of how awesome he is, and Liam Kirk.
Yes.
Because a lot of people want to talk about Liam Kirk because it's like, it's a novelty. Just the novelty is the fact that there are very few UK born and trained players out in the NHL.
He was the first NHL drafted born and raised player. Perlini was born in the UK, I believe, but I don't think he played there. I think he went
born, trained, and drafted out of the UK.
Yeah.
So like that's the cool thing. There's that's the novelty I'm referring to, and the cool thing is, like, he's impressed in a lot of the stuff that he did. Obviously, he was injured all this last year, so there's very limited things that we can even see from him. And that's, I think, what makes, him also another person to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the fact that he also went down with a knee injury, like, I kind of wish that Connor Timmins was going to be playing. He's probably a little bit too old for this tournament, but still, he missed all of last year with a knee injury. Give him something to do.
Yeah, but we'll see him in preseason.
Yeah, definitely. He is a player to watch.
Any final thoughts that you want to do, maybe on this roster you want to take that do you want to point out?
Yeah. Ben McCartney definitely is a name that stands out. Is a player that I'm always interested to see. And then Maximilian Zuber. I am very intrigued with him as a prospect. Another player who was drafted this past year. Good old Zuber.
Absolutely. Those are just some of the players that we think might be fun to watch as the Arizona Coyotes are set to travel to San Jose, California for the Rookie Faceoff Tournament. An exciting time for these young players, and it will be a good chance to be able to watch it. Hopefully, also the streaming is better, because last time was not so.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Not good times.
Not good times. Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this episode of Locked On Coyotes. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, like, comment, subscribe if you have yet to already. We're available everywhere you get your podcast, including on YouTube. Don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes, and on Twitter at LO_Coyotes. I am personally at Robyn_Leonio. Carl Pavlak is at Carl Pavlak FFH. Interact with us, ask a question you might have. We might answer right back or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to today's episode. Hope you're staying safe out there. Hope you're staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.